Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about the Marvel Multiverse RPG that came out in 2023 and why it is a absolutely, it's a huge event in the history of tabletop role-playing games. So, Gary Gygax comes out in 1974. He changes narrative forever. He changes how humans interact with identity forever. With Dungeons & Dragons, he simply changes in one product, interaction with narrative, interaction with identity, how people collect memory, sensation, emotion, and really said for humans, we can have multiple sets of memory, sensation, and emotion, and allowed us to collect identities the way the wealthy collect Fabergé eggs, right? And huge, momentous moment in human history, and certainly and the birth of the tabletop role-playing game. In 2023, the Marvel Multiverse RPG appears, and I think it is the second most important occurrence in the history of tabletop role-playing games. And the reason why is, I would say that simple people and non-complex people interact with Dungeons & Dragons from the perspective of a game. They cut goblins in half with it, and then there's this separate group of people who recognize exactly what Gary Gygax did in 1974 and are using it for bigger and broader things, for significance and purpose and meaning, and a tool to achieve identity goals, right? That has been singular to Dungeons & Dragons since 1974, and now that is changing. I think that the Marvel Multiverse RPG is the first tabletop role-playing product to move to second. It is the second tabletop role-playing game product to move from game to experience. I think you can absolutely play a game with Dungeons & Dragons. A lot of people do. Enjoy yourself, right? But there are others who recognize what Dungeons & Dragons is and are starting to move. Joe Manganiello is one of them. This last year, right on Dungeons & Dragons Direct, he said, "I'm having elevated conversations with people who are transforming their lives and the lives of the communities they live in with Dungeons & Dragons." Like, just said it flat out. Said the quiet part loud, right? Like, astounding, right? So why does the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game inherit this significance, this purpose, this meaning, this ability to be used as a tool, where literally thousands of other tabletop role-playing games have not done that? Well, it has to do with legacy. Every single day, actually not every day, every single week, there is a new tabletop role-playing game that is released. Okay, many of them, and they go about attempting to do something. Many of them want to help game masters and players have fun. Good luck with that, right? Go with God. Many of them want to defeat Dungeons & Dragons. None of them have been able to do this. Not one. Even for a minute, right? And then I think there might be 1 in 10,000 where they attempt to equal what Gary Gygax did with and become a tool the way Dungeons & Dragons, created by Gary Gygax, became. So how was Matt Forbeck, who created the Marvel Multiverse RPG, how was he able to do it? How was he able to make the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game serve with significance, purpose, and become more than a fun little fiddle toy, and become a massively important identity tool for people who recognize what identity tools are? Well, it's very, very simple. Actually, it's not simple. Sorry, it's highly complex, and it's somewhat hidden, and I'm going to explain it to you. In 1961, Marvel created the first Marvel comic book. That is Legacy. It was Journey into Mystery, number 69. It dropped in 1961. Okay. That was 13 years before Dungeons & Dragons would appear. But it was legacy. And Jack Kirby and Stan Lee knew exactly what that had happened. And it was the exact same legacy that Gary Gygax was crafting. Jack Kirby and Stan Lee went directly to the fundaments of narrative, right? And said, we're going to go back to myth, and we're going to help people understand stories in new ways. And that's exactly what comic books did, right? And Matt Forback built Jack Kirby's legacy and Stan Lee's legacy and Gary Gygax's legacy directly into Marvel Multiverse RPG. And that's not me saying it. It's listed on page 2 of the book. Truly transformative, massive occurrence. Every single word of that's my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and may God bless you and yours.